Yo, 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 what's up, AJ? Can you hear me? AJ, can you hear me? Mic check, mic check.
Can't hear you.
I can hear you. You can't hear me? Hold on. My phone, can you hear me now?
I got you. There we
Okay,
go.
okay. Yeah, yeah, you need to turn yours up a little bit. Yours is a little light.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. You sound much better. How's everything?
Good, good. Can't complain, man. How you doing?
No complaints, no complaints, man. You a little shiny today, man. That head is a little shiny today. You
Yeah,
must have just
man. I
got the fresh one.
just got my soul in. Just got my
Yeah,
soul in.
yeah, man, you got the little fresh one. I like that though, man. Hey, I'm at the next time clean mine up a little bit more. Mine ain't quite as I didn't put no cocoa butter or nothing like that on top of it.
Well, it's a little late, so had to take a shower, all that good stuff, man.
Oh, you made sure you're nice and fresh, huh?
Yeah,
All right. Well, hey, man, we gonna start off the show today a little bit. Kind of explain a little people about some of the things we do with Elite 100. Um, First and foremost, I'll introduce myself. I'm AG Wasim. That's my partner in crime, AJ Brooks. Some of the things we do with Elite 100 is that we try to give kids in Central Florida area. We cover 6 counties as of right now. Hopefully, we can one day extend to 8. But as of right now, we cover Orange, Seminole, Osceola, Volusia, Brevard, and Lake County. Correct.
yep.
All right. So, some of the things that we try to do is we we have our Elite 100 All Star Game to try to help kids get athletic scholarships. We've had one in Orange County. We had one in Lake County. Next year, we're trying to go to, is it Seminole?
We go
Seminole
San.
or Osceola? We
No.
rotate it around. Uh, the goal, for us is always to try to get as many kids in school as possible. That's really the ultimate goal. You want to have anything you want to share?
Nah, I mean just trying to help the kids. That's pretty much
Oh, look at this guy. This guy, Travis Rowland. Oh man, look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Uh, they lying. Y'all don't believe any of it. Yeah. Hey, I guess well, we'll get on that a little bit early because we had some teams picked to win state. So I guess we're gonna be lying in too. We picked those teams since we got jokes, Travis. By the way, if Travis don't win state, yeah, they need to fire him out there because he got a good team. But more importantly, all jokes aside, he's a
don't
good
say
brother.
that, man. God
Uh,
dog.
no, 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 that's my dog, man. He know it. All jokes aside, man, he's a really good brother. I'm very proud of him. I'm so glad that he got the job, at Mainland, and I'm glad he's doing the things he's doing. A lot of people, hated on him when he got the job, uh, and
Like,
now, yeah, back home, and now those same people hating on him, they over there. Oh, I knew he would do it. I knew he would bring everything back. So that's how it worked. But he's definitely doing a great job and had a great. They had probably the best game in state last year, wouldn't you say? Like
yeah,
that, like
they had a good game.
yeah.
Apocka too, but that
Yeah,
mainly
Popka game
was
was a good one too. Popka game was too. So that's some good stuff, man. So uh, let's see what we're gonna talk a little bit about that. AJ, you got something you want to tell the people about us about?
no, I mean it's been a pretty interesting off season in Central Florida sports. I guess we'll touch base. Check your phone. We'll touch base on transfers.
You
Um,
want to do that now? We can do it
yeah,
now.
let's
That's
touch
fine.
base on transfers.
All right.
I mean, since we talking about it, we might as well go.
Yeah, we might
First team
start with
mainland,
Mainland. Yeah, might as well start with
mainland.
Mainland.
Obviously, Isaiah Shine transferred back to mainland from Spruce Creek. Along with him, Isaiah plays cornerback. So mainland arguably has
Best defense.
the best corners, 1-2 corner combo in this area for sure. And they could rival with anybody in the state. And to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Yeah, my take on it honestly is I don't expect to see nothing but straight press man. Hey, straight press man. Hey, you got this corner over here. You got this receiver. You got this receiver. We playing nine of our guys in the box against everybody
And
because
I
both of
mean
those boys can go,
both of them are versatile enough
no
where
doubt.
if we wanted to flood one side of the field, one could play corner, the other one could be over top at safety if it was a dynamic matchup with like a dominant receiver. But then at the same time, they also have Rodney Hill, who came over from
Oh yeah,
Palm Coast, linebacker.
yeah.
He's committed to Tulane, if I'm not mistaken, but he's a tackling machine. He's gonna fit right in. And then the dynamic quarterback DJ Murray also came over from Flagler Palm Coast. So they have some weapons. And then Jamison Holiday came over from Deltona, another defensive back. So they just loading up, if I be honest with you.
Oh no, like whoever the Facebook user is, because Facebook sometimes don't tell us who you are. So Facebook user, if you could just say your name, so that we know what we got. And I think it may be the same person that's saying Justin Payne as well. But basically, that's why I'm not trying to be funny. Uh, I'm calling for Travis Heady to win
I
something.
mean, you think about
I
it
mean,
though. They lost in the state championship last year in a close game. Like how much? The only better they can do is win it.
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. The last real like shutout defense like that we seen in Central Florida was probably that Wakava team. That was a very, and they was giving up 8, 9 points a game. I'm sure, Mainland's gonna be like that this year. I don't think too many people are going oh that too many people. Oh, that was Travis Rowley, say AK Kirby Smart Jr., Eric Pinellas. See, this is why, man. Sometimes, man, some of these coaches, man. But you know what? I tell you what though, and real soon we're gonna
Hey,
have some
what'd you
we gonna
say?
have real soon we're gonna be talking to y'all coaches as well. But man, they loaded. I mean, they
They
loaded,
low.
and Mr. Eric Pinellas got to be careful because I'm sure that there's going to be some people on this list as well. But let's you want to go with the next team, man? Up, you want to go with
Next team we look at Jones. Obviously the big shakeup in the last couple of weeks was a 4-star quarterback Trevor Jackson leaving West Orange, heading over to Jones. And a couple of weeks before that, Renell Brown, the third from Wildwood, a dynamic sophomore receiver, transferred into Jones from Wildwood, as I mentioned. So those two back to back in the last week or two. That really gives Jones a lot of firepower. At the same time, Jalen Smith from Plant City and Waukee Ambrose from East River transferred in. So the one position that Jones really, really needed, which was receivers, because they lost their core receiving group. All of them went on to go play and will be playing
over
college
the
football.
last over the last 2 years. They lost.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
lost
you look at
Ace. They lost like really about 95% of Bobo. They lost like 95% of their receiver group over the
yeah,
last. Bobo came in and kind of took the place of Ace, but now that they're all gone, you can honestly say they lost a lot. But
they
the
lost a lot.
receiving crew came in strong, so we know that Coach Will had those boys ready. We do know that Jones lost Coach Anderson as their defensive coordinator, so that'll be interesting to watch. But every year Jones is right up there, and we don't expect any difference from those guys this year coming up. I expect
Yep.
to see them in the state championship as well. Uh, yeah, let's see who next up, man. I think we had what did they did we talk about Waukee going over there
Somebody
as well?
said line gets the line together. Jones get the line together. There's gonna be trouble. And I agree with you because
Yeah,
I think 3 weeks ago they went down to the University of Miami camp and they beat Central 7-7.
yeah,
And so they could play with anybody at the skill. It'll
no,
come
no
down
doubt,
to the teachers.
no doubt, no doubt. So of course, we can't leave out those Cocoa Tigers. They
Okay.
had a great bunch of transfers in. They had Davian Hawkins. Uh, he came
Ingram.
in, Ingram, and they had Brady Hart from Melbourne. Duran Guilford as well came in from Rockledge. Davion and Ingram, they came from Rockledge, and they had DJ Bryan from Titusville. They do have a big loss in the fact that Day Farmer left. But the guys they're bringing in are bona fide ball players as well. So uh, those guys are going to be strong with it as well. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
I think that they definitely obviously you lose Day Day. I think Day Day is the most dynamic receiver in all of Central Florida. So you lose
You
Day
think?
Day.
You
That's a
think? You
big.
think that? No, but that's another show. We got a show coming up.
Okay,
That's
I'm just saying, but that's a big loss. But honestly, they like Ohio State, man, because Javen Boggs, that dude, he was a sophomore last year. He had 750 yards receiving.
yeah.
They
He
got
looked good.
CJ Bragg. CJ Bragg, he had like 8 touchdowns. Hawkins said played receiver, so like they spread the wealth. But DJ Bryant Hill definitely helped them in that receiving position.
And they
Helped
had a
carry some.
quarterback last year too. That that makes a difference. They had
And
a
they had a good
quarterback.
quarterback. So speaking of
Had a good
quarterback, you
line.
look at Brady Hart. Brady Hart is a young, he's a freshman quarterback. He was at Melbourne. He was sitting behind Hunter Turner. So he had to wait his turn. I think he learned some, but he's the quarterback for the future for Coco right now. I guess they're gonna go with Brady Hart.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still going to be hard to supplant that senior leadership, senior quarterback they had. He was a bad boy,
Yeah, no,
and
ain't
we
no
wish
doubt about
we
that.
wish him best over there at Coco. Let's go up. Let's go up back up into Volusia County, man. Let's talk a little bit about D-Land. They had a couple of transfers come in. You want to talk about those guys real quick?
Yeah, yeah, D-Land, they had a couple transfers. I think that helped them. They had a very, very respectable season last year. I'm not sure if anyone expected D-Land to get off to have that kind of season. Obviously, Coach Darlington is there. He knows the formula. Dynamic quarterback TJ Moore, but they added Ramir Gordon from Deltona, who's a dynamic defensive back. He's a physical tackler. He fits right in with the culture at D-Land. And they also have Justin Brown Jr. from University up in Orange Center. He transferred in. He's another defensive back. So D-Land is just building up on that defense. It kind of looked like Apopka. But I mean, they look good.
Well, we'd expect nothing less from Coach D. He's been around for a long time. He knows the area. D-Land has always been a school that they support their own city. Like D-Land is maybe not as big as Apopka or as big as Seminole, but back in the day, boy, those D-Land Seminole Mainland matchups were like tremendous.
For
We
real.
always had a lot of talent out that way. All right, next up we have Olympia. Olympia. They brought a few transfers. Coach Pinellas says they're loaded. Uh, they brought in
Yeah,
both Ware boys from Lake Highland, and I think I'm pretty sure they're going to get quite a few more of the transfers to come in. Uh, they have a good team. They're in the 8A region. 8A is definitely the weakest. Quite frankly, it's the weakest region. In Central Florida. So they should have a really good chance of because they'll be probably one of the more dominant teams in the 8A, especially with West Orange, Trevor Jackson going over. Of course, Apopka, Seminole are to be reckoned with, but they got to play each other to get to state, no matter what.
right.
Uh, the Olympia bracket is the Ocoee bracket. So basically, they pretty much got a straight line to get
They
at
they
least to the
they
Final Four.
Olympia could be our Ocoee this year, just being
Yeah, they got
honest. But I think
they
they could be more dominant if I be honest
they,
with you. They got
they
all the
have
pieces.
yeah they have
They
a better they have a more balanced team than Ocoee did. Ocoee
correct.
Ocoee had those two offensive weapons, and of course Coach Buck did a tremendous job defensively. We had that defensive guy that people really didn't give credit to. That damn Calvin Smith was wrecking shop all year long. Uh,
Yeah,
Certain people really didn't give him the credit he deserved. But and then of course Austin Ware didn't get his credit too. But Olympia is definitely a lot deeper than what Ocoee was, and it's just going to be interesting to see if Coach Gabe, who I talked to a little bit earlier today, he said he wanted to see what we had to say. Well, I'm gonna say it to Coach Gabe, like I told, because me and Will got to stand and bet anyway about if Jones going to state. So if Coach Gabe, if you don't win state, they need to fire you. So I challenge.
Yo, what is up with you? You want everybody job today?
Hey,
Relax,
hey man,
dog.
hey man, hey, I'm like fire, man, under pressure, man. We can't be we can't be talking to I don't care who wins, but we need a state champion for Central Florida next year.
We do. Look,
The state champion
I
for Central
think
Florida. I will personally make sure we barbecue for all state champions in Central Florida. I'll make
so
sure.
far. So what you said? You said we putting our money on a couple teams, Mainland, Olympia. We putting our
Oh man,
money on them.
I'm putting my money on everybody. Osceola. I mean, if
I
you're
see
from
all.
Central Florida, I expect y'all to do some work this year. Period. You
Yeah,
know,
we got
I'm
some.
not
We got
letting you
some.
off the hook. I'm not letting you off the hook. I'm gonna be, hey man. Every week I'm picking one of you guys to win. I mean, every week. So I expect somebody. Hey man, if I keep picking somebody gonna win. I'm willing to buy some chicken drumsticks. No, I'm just joking. I'll make sure we have some really good barbecue. But Elite 100 will barbecue for whoever wins state. Period. I'll make sure it
Yeah,
go down.
we got
I'll
the
make sure
team.
we got the team. We'll make sure that y'all boys have a good time on us. So I mean, that's what we're talking about. Let's
Somebody
and
make it happen.
somebody got to do it, man. Which we're gonna keep talking about these teams, so we'll see. Because next up, we have Evans. They have Devontae Grant from Trinity Catholic. Uh, you know, kid came on my college bus tour. Uh, I mean, I'm very impressed with the kid. I love his demeanor as a cornerback. He's very confident, but yet not cocky. He's very confident in his skill set. He I like his confidence. I like the way he has that mentality that is perfect to me as a corner. You can't have a corner just be all hyper and all over the place because you're gonna win some and lose some. But this kid just got up and fought and competed. I like the kid. Uh, we got also Seminoles. We talked about him. They got one transfer, but boy, it's a hell of a transfer. They got Carson.
Christmas,
Carson.
Christmas in July, boy, over there in
Yeah,
Seminole.
yeah. Coach must be living right. So, Coach, if you don't win state, you know the rule.
Hey,
Coach Calhoun, you don't win
hey,
state.
it's his first year, dog. That's a
Hey,
lot.
look,
That's
man.
too much
I ain't hear
pressure,
nothing,
bro.
man. Look, man. I put pressure on all of them. Hey,
Bro,
hey,
it's
man.
his first year. He
I
just
don't
he
care.
just had a daughter about a week ago, bro.
Yeah,
Relax.
man.
Give him
On the
some
real, congratulations on that. Now, on the real, we
congratulations
definitely.
on that,
Yeah, but
dog.
hey, that still don't let you off the hook. Now that you got a daughter, you sure got to win state. Because if daughters go, hey, he got more kids, so he know how to go. The daughters drive you crazy. We got daughters. Trust me, they
Yeah,
drive you crazy.
give him a
Speaking of,
break, man.
love my daughters, both, all of them. All right, and then
And by no means, no disrespect to Parks either. I think Parks is a dynamic athlete,
yeah,
but Carson, he could throw the ball with any
yeah,
quarterback in this area.
and then on top of that, let's just keep it a buck too. Mike and Carson, they have a great relationship. They had
Oh
a great
man,
relationship from 7 on 7. They have
listen,
a great relationship from knowing each other.
that's
I
his
mean,
favorite
they
quarterback.
correct. So they should do very very well together. Let's see. We got who else we got? We got a couple of left. Uh,
Who we got?
I'm gonna do this one. See,
Yo,
we wanted to say like Rockledge had a loss in Davian Hawkins. We just want to make sure everybody they had a loss. David Hawkins, Ingram, Duran, Guilford, and Jamarian Stevens. So that's
that's
gonna
a
hurt them
lot.
a lot. But
That's a
we
lot.
hoping but you notice that you ain't getting them phone calls about playing all the tough teams like they did last year.
I
Last year we
mean,
was getting phone calls, and I understood why but
it
this
was
year,
low.
man, yeah, this year they you ain't getting them phone calls. But I
I
don't,
mean, I think that particularly hurts them. Obviously, Davion Hawkins, he'll be a rising senior, so that's senior leadership. But then
yeah,
you look at Duran Guilford and Stevens. Those are young guys. That's a freshman and a sophomore. Like those are building pieces. Stevens, he rushed for over 1,000 yards last year as a sophomore.
man,
So
I'm having a brain fart too. What's our coach over there at Rockledge? Uh,
my T.
Ty,
Rome,
T Rome, yeah, T Rome. Shout out to T Rome. He had a big loss in his family, so we just want to let him know, man. Still praying for you, brother. Definitely still praying for you. All right, and then of course, last but certainly not least, we have Osceola. Uh, Somebody just put this in though. Yo, yo, yo! It's a new season, fellas. So whoever this is, if you could just put your name in the comment section so that we can at least acknowledge you. But Osceola, they brought in Anthony Powers. You know,
yes,
yeah. So that's a big thing for those guys. Uh, supposedly this
quarterback
guy,
position.
yeah. Supposedly this guy is like the next up and coming quarterback for those guys. I'm sure they. They got a good team, man. They loaded. Now I'm
Oh,
telling you.
they
Oh,
loaded.
and I should have known exactly who that was. I apologize because we only have one person that talk about Lake Mary. So
Only one.
yeah,
He
man,
faithful though. I respect him, man, because he's
uh,
so faithful to them damn
oh
Rams.
man, all I know is though he owe us some damn wings still to this day.
Yes, he
Yeah,
do.
and like, so I mean that was man. That was what? That was December,
Yeah, that
November.
was the first week.
I mean,
That was
no,
the
no, we going into damn to July. This man, look, bro, there's no excuses, man. The wings got to come up one sooner than later, man. Yes, Pinellas, y'all are loaded. Y'all are always loaded.
And the one thing
Uh,
I will say about Osceola, they did get the transfer of the quarterback to kind of solidify that position. But realistically, it's pretty much homegrown over there. They just got
yeah.
a lot of young boys, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. And we'll talk about them in the next couple shows, but they young boys, they loaded.
Oh yeah, they definitely, one of my favorite schools. And I like everything that they do out there, man. I love they're one of the few schools that remind me of what is dude right here, man. They're one of the few schools that remind me. Hold on, man. I gotta let you see this, man. They're one of the few schools that remind me of back home in Texas. For those who don't know about Texas, you know, every place like football is king, and like just imagine if you like Coco, Osceola, like I'm talking about no matter where you are in Texas, those people live, eat, and breathe football. I was all state basketball player and was getting no play from the women. And the fourth string dude on football, girls like, oh my God, he's fourth string running back. They love football in Texas. I'm talking about, bruh, it is like it's something I wish everybody can experience because those guys are playing in 40,000, stadiums and filling them up. So I mean, it's
Unreal.
ridiculous. Yeah, I
That's
mean, like when I moved here, when I moved here, I'm used to Texas refereeing. In Texas referee, we get a piece of the gate. So like if it's 30,000 people, we get a piece of the gate. So I came down here thinking it was like that, and they was like, "Here's your $45." Like what? So that's a whole nother. But yeah, man. So we appreciate you guys. Listen to Lake Mary's loaded. Did Lake Mary get any transfers? Since that's what we're talking about. Did Lake Mary get any transfers? Because
Lake Mary. I'll be honest with you. Lake Mary is they gonna be a pretty solid
no,
team.
we know it. Like honestly, that's the region of death over there. I told somebody that the other day. When you look at that region, and we're not trying to date ourselves because we are going to have conversation about those. We're gonna go through all the regions, and we'll probably do a little bit of that next week and start going through 8A, 7A,
Yeah.
6, whatever, 4 metro,
What?
4
That's a
suburban.
tough jump. Are you talking about Apopka, Seminole, Lake Mary, Evans, Lake
Lake
Brantley?
Brandley, Lake Brandley.
That's, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like if the thing is, they're gonna probably have at least 4 teams make that district. They're gonna have at least 4 teams. Like, because think about it, last year they had 3. Matter of fact, last year they had 4. Last year they had 4. Now think about it.
did Lake Brantley make the playoffs last
Like
year?
Brandley, I think made it. I could be wrong, but
No,
last year,
Lake Mary, Seminole, and Apopka made it.
right? Uh,
Um,
I
Evans
think
could
like
Evans
uh,
could be a contender. You think? They might have a shot.
I don't know about that. I hope they do because that's my dog. Carlos is my dog, and I hope that they do. But I just think that
They
region,
almost beat Apopka last year. I was at the game. They was up at halftime. They just
yeah, it was one of those things too that you got to remember that Popka's so used to beating up on Evans, those boys came out flat. I think that you got to remember this new group of Apopka kids, which may be good for them. A lot of those guys didn't play, so now a lot of those guys this their opportunity. That's one thing about Apopka that's different than most schools is that they be having guys that be sitting around for 3 years and never get on the field. Think about
no.
that.
Apopka is like right now. I just don't know what Apopka gonna be, but I'm like, it's Apopka. Like I don't expect them
See,
to be nothing short of Apopka, but I'm like, the last couple of years they lost a lot of talent.
look, like Brantley played one apart.
So yeah, so they had four. Yeah, you're right. Like, when the
Yeah,
park
yeah, I'm
skint,
saying, yeah.
when the
I'm
park.
telling you, I tell you, I like it, man. I love it. Somebody said they like that energy. That had to be your boy. I like that energy. Man. We just want our wings, man. That's all we want. Like, they shout out to Taylor May. Yeah, we appreciate it. I look at thank God for you guys. They changed. They talk about down south. That's the thing I have to get used to down here, man. In Texas, like nobody really says down south. Florida's the only state I ever met that they are south, but they don't count like Orlando. Orlando and up is up north. They not considered south. In Texas,
Yeah.
we consider all of Texas the south. But it is what it is. But they be serious about that. But he say let's go this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, so hey man, I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. What was the other thing we want to talk about a little bit?
Man, let's get to these 2026s, man. Let's run through this list.
You want to go through them?
You
All right,
want
well, hey,
to?
hey, man, hey, let me see, guys. We're gonna talk a little bit about these 2026s, but what we got to make sure that let's explain to them what we're doing. Let's explain the whole process so they can know what they need to do. So, hey, guys, we're gonna do the 2026s. What we need from you guys, well, not just 2020s. We're gonna give you the top 20 in the 2026, the top 30 in 2025, the top 50 in the 2024. However, with the top 50, we are literally going to have another 50 that we're asking you to vote and to tell us, hey, give us your suggestions. So we're going to start off early, and I say we can go with the 26s, but where would they go to make their suggestions on kids and like 26s that we should put on our list, or 25s that we should put, and definitely the 24s that we should put? Where do they need to go and make and do all of that, AJ?
Honestly, they could go to our YouTube. If you go to our YouTube, subscribe, obviously, and then we have a video. It's preseason. It's a preseason mixtape, part one. So it'll be a part one, part two, and a part three. We probably have 3 or 4 different parts on any of those mixtapes. You can just comment player and team that you want to vote for, and then we'll take a look and go from there.
Yeah, you know what we need from you guys if we don't get nothing else. We need you guys to go ahead and go on and oh man, I got somebody just send me a text. They must be watching. They said AJ needs to smile more. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But we need each and every one of you guys to go on to our YouTube channel and make sure that you subscribe because we're going to start putting a lot more content on there. We're going to have interviews of guys who are committing. Speaking of Olympia, I need to get with Cameron Ware, who I want to give full credit to. I want to stop and everybody do me a big favor. If you get a chance, go on this young man's Twitter, tell him congratulations and thank you because he committed to Harvard. I mean, first off, we're talking about Harvard. So he
Or
committed to play football at Harvard. Like we always talk about these young men about grades and making sure you have the grades and the grades and the grades. Well, this young gentleman has the grades so he can go to Harvard and play football. That is like everybody talks about a 40-year decision. That truly is a 40-year decision. You know, like I'm gonna be nice to him because in about 5, 6 years, I might need to work for the young man. But
what?
yeah, but everyone, make sure you compliment this young man. Make sure you let him know,
Congrats.
that
Yeah.
congratulations and let him know that we're proud of him as a community. Because a lot of times people that look like us don't get the opportunity to play in places like that. So
So what you
let's make
tell?
sure.
So what you telling me? You telling me he put the pressure on his brother?
Oh no, he put the pressure on everybody. It's bigger than just his brother. I mean, I tell everybody, we always talk about how we want these young men to be more than an athlete. That's something that
Correct.
we talk about all the time. And because at our age now, we can really uh and I'll put his Instagram up real quick so y'all can make sure y'all go give him a shout out. But we always talk about how we want those guys to, do those type of things. We want them to be more than just a football player because football, as you know, and even basketball for me, it has a shelf life. This young man is going to go to Harvard, and with that degree, when he comes out, you know, he's the 1%er. He's one of the 1% that does all that. So, I'd like to have all our kids. If I had my wish, all our kids would go to school on academic scholarships. Seriously, every last kid. I wouldn't care if you went to Bama. I don't care where you go. I mean, because we want them to be more than just a football player. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised knowing the family personally. His dad, I've known him 20 plus years. His grandmother is the most distinguished person I've ever met, like Dr. Perkins. So education has always been instilled in that family, and just knowing them personally, the only type of schools that had a shot, honestly, when you have every Ivy League school as an opportunity to go to every Ivy League school, the only schools that had a shot were Duke or Vanderbilt or Stanford, one of those big time
Academic
football
school.
programs,
Academic
but
school.
at the same time, top notch academic school. So I tease and I say he put the pressure on his brother because his brother also has a Harvard uh, offer. They went on the visit together. Cam, he committed. He liked what he saw. He made a 40-year decision, as you say. So I just tease and say, he put a little pressure on Melo because now Melo, I mean, Harvard,
Hey man, but Melo got it. And one thing I admire about Melo, he's his own man, and
correct?
and I don't think there's no pressure at all. He'll figure it out. I we expect them to have great seasons over at Olympia, and I'm pretty sure that Melo will get a little bit more coming his way. So he's gonna have that decision to make though, like Ivy League. But I'm just so proud of Cam and what the fact that he made that decision because a lot of kids don't make those kind of
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah.
Especially at that
No,
age, because at that age you don't know what you don't know. So I'm very
man,
proud of him.
Cam like a
So
Cam like a 35-year-old man. Man, that boy is
he
so
get
mature.
he get it, he get it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open up on them 26s. We talked about it. We had and just so that for the record, the people know, we do have a committee of guys that we lean up on to ask these questions. It's not just me and AJ. We just take the heat because we the only ones on the show. Because number one, you can't have 10 people on the show talking at the same time, and plus, I personally think anybody with an A in their first name is probably the better looking person than all the other guys that have initials that don't start with A. So we don't want to scare you guys out off of here. But let's go ahead and start. And this is in no particular order. It is
It
in
is an order.
alphabetical
It's an alphabetical order
alphabetical
by
order.
the
Right,
school.
right, right. So it is strictly that. So
Yeah,
do you want to go ahead and are we gonna put it? Are we gonna put it up on social media as well? The
yeah. We'll post it on social media tonight. After the broadcast, I'll post it up on social media.
all
But
right.
yeah, first off, we starting with a Packers 2026 quarterback Tyson Davidson. Um, he shared time at the beginning of the season, but down the back stretch, he was the full-time starter at quarterback. I expect him to have a dynamic season next year, and just take steps and get better. And I think he's going to be a vital piece for how a Apopka season goes.
Oh no, I think he's definitely the vital piece. We're going to see what happens with those guys. Apopka is Apopka. I wouldn't bet against him. The OC is brought in the spread. That's going to be interesting to see. How that works for them. Uh, OC is a member of Cap Alpha Psi, so of course I'm rooting for him. All day and every day. But it's going to be interesting to see what those guys do. I'm not worried about a Packers defense. I never like that's one thing I'm never worried about. They're gonna always fly to the ball and do those type of things. So it's gonna be interesting. Next up,
He plays
oh,
quarterback
he plays
position.
quarterback. Yeah, yeah, we gotta let him know what position he plays. QB. Who's next up on the agenda?
Next up, he played Jake Crew. He go to the Bishop Moore. Jake Crew he's about 6'2", 205, 210, defensive end. Um, he already has a Vanderbilt offer, if I'm not mistaken, as a freshman. So he's another kid, very smart, but he's very wiry on that edge, and he should force a lot of havoc at Bishop Moore.
Yeah, so Jake the Snake, that's what he's called, Jake the
Yep.
Snake, and Jake the Snake, does a tremendous job of that, and I expect though Jake the Snake to be doing his thing. One thing I like about Jake the Snake is he is not afraid to he's not afraid to mix it up. Jake the Snake is like, hey, let's rock. He's like that old Al Bundy character, like like I want to make sure all the brothers know you can't use that brother trick on Jake the Snake. I'm just letting you know. You be trying to use that, yeah. What's up? What you gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna tighten you up. Jake the Snake
He
gonna be
ain't-
like, let's go.
yeah, Jit ain't going for none of that.
None of
That's
that.
none
That
of
is
that.
so. Nah, that's hilarious, man.
He over
Next
there
up
training.
is good.
He over there training with Tank, so he's equipped for diverse situations. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah. Tank got it right. Tank is over there with it right. Let me. I just want to pull it up on my phone so I can make sure I go with you. Cause yeah. So who we got next up?
Next up, we got Boone Legarian Wilson. He was an what is it? FBU All American. Last year he had 3 interceptions. Very solid player. Started at cornerback. Always tough and impressive to start as a true freshman. So Legarian Wilson at DB.
Yeah, well, we not finna act like FBU All American mean anything. We ain't finna start all that.
They get him,
Yeah,
man. His
yeah,
stripes. I'm
but but
just
but
it,
but I
it
don't have to. Hey man,
translates.
but he's a hell of a football player. He really is. So we expect him to continue to do the things he does. Boone, you got anybody else in Boone?
Yeah, we got Noah Maddox, another FBU All American. But I'm just saying though, Noah real deal, that linebacker. He's coming
See,
downhill.
I'm gonna stop you right now. We cannot
I ain't
say
gonna say it
FBU
no
All
more. That's
American
the last
because
time. That was
I
the last.
can't take it
That's
because
the, okay,
everybody
okay,
that's
okay,
FBU All
okay, okay,
American is
okay,
not
okay.
like that. All right,
That
all
was the
right.
last time.
I'm
That was
just
the
saying, if
last
it come up
time.
again, and I gave it twice, the third one, I'm just gonna let loose. All right, so who we got next?
The rest of these dudes, I ain't even fooling with that. But that was the last one. But for real though, that's how they most well known is from that statue.
Now,
But Noah
actually,
Maddox,
I watch those boys play in youth league, and like I tell anybody, uh, I just got a rule, man. Uh, you can't be an All American paying for it. I just got a rule.
I'm with you.
I mean that's like I can't support that. I mean I'm all down with paying to play. That's not, but when you throw that tag, but these boys really are pretty good. I
Yeah,
will
they
say
they
that.
really like that though.
Yeah, because there's some kids on this list who didn't go do that, and they are amazing. So let's go with our next guys on this. I think we got the Coco. I'll name the schools. We got the Coco Tigers. Like I know they got some people for you.
Yep, they got Brady Hart. He's a transfer at quarterback we mentioned from Melbourne.
All right.
He already has 4 or 5 offers. Even though he was a backup, he showcased a lot of ability at different camps and rivals and the pylons, things like that nature. So Brady Hart, he's a upcoming quarterback out there in Brevard County.
Yeah, expect a lot out of him. Hopefully, hopefully he can do his thing. We got anybody else in Coco?
Nope. Next up, we got Dr. Phillips, Big Phoenix Taylor. I mean, he a man child at the defensive line position. So yeah, Phoenix Taylor. When it's all said and done, I expect him to have 40 plus offers. One of those
I
type of
need
kids.
Phoenix gonna have to grow a little bit, but if Phoenix grow just 2 more inches, he's definitely gonna easily be a 40 plus guy. His talent is definitely there. He's a 40 plus, like his talent alone is there. He just needs, like nowadays, unfortunately, football has become a measurables event. Like
Yeah,
if you got the size, even it doesn't matter. But that guy can really play. And then he's also another kid that's under some great tutelage dealing with Tank as far as developing him. All right, so then next up, Edgewater Eagles. They got some studs over there. Let's talk about them.
Edgewater. You're looking at Ben Bankowitz, a center, offensive lineman. He already has a couple offers. He was a starter. So anytime you get a 6'3", 270-pound freshman who's able to
Yeah,
start day one, and that center, you already know like the
it says a
projection.
lot.
Yeah,
That says a lot. Like,
that's
yes, if you
different.
starting at center, that means the center people don't believe it's not, but he's got to be one of the smartest guys out there. So, and one of the reasons I kind of let AJ handle that one. If you notice, I was letting AJ make the calls because these last names, when you start going Bankowitz and somebody, I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm gonna throw in the next. I could do the next two because I can say those names.
Oh, you
Michael
say that.
Michael Clayton. I can say that. Hey, that's and we're not talking about the wide receiver from LSU. We talking about Michael Clayton, the quarterback at Edgewater. He looked pretty good against Osceola till he messed up his arm. We
Collarbone.
pray for him.
So,
Yeah, we pray for collarbone. Yeah, we pray for a speedy recovery. And then the other quarterback that Darian Coleman at Jones. A lot of people are like, well, how is that going to work? And I tried to explain to people. One thing Will has done is shown the ability to do is he's always had two quarterbacks. If he doesn't, it's because he doesn't have anybody behind that guy that can play. If you can play, Will is going to make sure that you get in, just like Felix Calvez. Uh, Going back to DeAndre Weaver when he's at Oak Ridge, he always if he knows you can throw and you can play, he's gonna get you in there. So I expect Darion to have a great season. Uh, it, I mean, if I was Coach Will, it was perfect. I got this senior guy who's played. I got the sophomore that I can sprinkle him in and make sure that he gets his reps because Jones is gonna be blowing people out. But boy, I tell people now, I'm not trying to be funny. The only reason I didn't say Will should win state because I'm saving that for next year. If Will do not win state next year, I'm telling you, I'll be at Jones, pop locking, talking about he got to lose his job. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, and that's my frat brother. So I'm just making sure that we all know that because they're gonna be loaded with next year. I mean, I don't think they lose a little bit with DeAndre if he leaves, but they're gonna be loaded when he
I mean,
leaves.
since Will been there, Jones is the worst that they've done was made it to the third round of the playoffs. So
Yeah.
historically,
He's going to the third round this year, I'm sure. But
like
but believe it or not,
historically,
they have
yeah.
they have a heck of a conference. I mean, they have a heck of a region like district as well. Uh, Next up, the boys from Lake Mary. I'll let you say the name, so because hey, that way
Hey,
maybe
that,
we can get our wings back. Maybe you get the wings back if
that,
you say
that
it.
hey, going back to Jones, somebody did just text me, but that does. I know I feel so bad for West Orange. This got to be a sick feeling because Felix Calvez left West Orange and went to Jones. His senior year, I said Felix, Julian Calvez. Calvez had over 4,500 yards of total offense.
He was player of the year. He was player of the year
Player
in
of
the
the
state.
year.
Yeah,
So
he was
now
player of the year
you
in the state.
fast forward 2 years later, your four-star quarterback leaves and goes to Jones, and I mean that's tough though. That's tough.
We jumped from E to L. Wasn't that? Didn't we just say Jones?
Yeah, we went from Edgewater to
Yeah.
J.
Yeah, we went to
You
Jay.
gotta,
Yeah, yeah,
gotta
yeah.
no.
Who is that? Because we
Who
need to
is
make
that?
sure. Yeah, we need to make sure that whatever educate. I hope that's not Mr. Lake Mary doing all that talking.
We ain't even say L. We on J's,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope we not dealing with Mr. Lake Mary. But since we are going to Lake
Oh,
Mary,
I
I'll
know
let
who
you say
that
the name.
is. Oh yeah, I know who that is. That's Rob talking about we went from E to L. Man, we did from E to J, man. Now we going to L though.
Yeah, hey, now, hey, Mr. Olsen Wings. Hey, go ahead and give what he. Yeah, I'll let you talk to him because maybe, like I said, maybe he'll take us for our wings then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this next one up is Lake Mary, linebacker, defensive end, Michael McClinton. Um, he led the team in tackles last year as a freshman. His motor, he relentless, man. He coming off the edge and he is relentless. I think in the playoff game against Seminole, he had 14 tackles, and that's when I say, yeah, he the real deal.
Yeah, but speaking of this dude right here, uh, speaking of him as well, the real deal. They got Noah Grubbs over there. Noah, I got to see him up close and personal.
Get
I got
right
to
to
see him up
it,
close.
huh?
Yeah, I'm not even going. I got to see him up
Get the
close and
real
personal.
deal.
Yeah, he's a real deal. I got to see him up at South Carolina. He spent that thing. He's going to be a heck of a football player.
He
So
said he the
shout
real
out to him.
deal.
Yeah.
I
All right.
think
So
I think Noah Grubbs is. I think he's very talented. He has the stature, the frame. So yeah, he got everything. You.
did McClendon transfer to Coy? Oh, we might
Oh,
have some.
who is that?
Hey man, McClendon transfer to Coy. Hey man, that might be
Yeah,
that got to be your boy. If that's the case, we got to put him on the transfer list. Hey, let
well,
me check. Let me check to make sure, man. Let me check to make sure. I should be able to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me get this right now, man. Let me figure this out. Let me see. because I got to. If McClendon went to Okoye, y'all excuse me. You can go ahead, AJ. I'm
All
gonna
right,
check on that. 'Cause
next up, we got Lake Mineola, offensive lineman Chancellor Barclay. Young man has already picked up a Florida offer. Vanderbilt, he's very smart. One of those type of kids. But he just solidifies that offensive line for Lake Mineola. And
I give Banks credit. That cat is really like making sure he is killing on the offensive and defense line. Look, like, hey, if V says
he
that,
might have.
hey, if V say, hey, she would know if anybody else didn't know.
He said he
Like, she
did
would
get
know.
in the transfer.
I don't know, man. I haven't been around this. I've been, it's the summer months, so I haven't been there. But hey, that's a big move for those who don't know. And I'll make sure that everybody does know. Coach Buck Gurley, he played defensive line for the Tampa Bay Bucks. That's not a bad move if you're a kid who plays if you're a kid that plays, that position. And I would
That's
love,
a great
and
move.
coach, and quite frankly, if you look at Coach Buck's resume, he's put quite a few of his guys are playing on Saturday, and a couple of them are going to be playing on Sunday. You have Big Jason that's playing started at Central Michigan for 3 years. You had Jordan Phillips who's going to be starting at Maryland this year, and then you had rest in peace. You had uh, boy, I don't have a brain for it.
Yeah.
Now he passed away. He went to Big
Oh,
Aaron Wilson. He was the number at one point. He was the
yeah.
number 10 guy in the country. He left Okoye, went to St. Francis, and he died of cancer. So Buck has had some good ball players over there, and I'm pretty. And then he's working on Zeke Brinson this year, so he knows how to develop guys. That's for certain. And so I did get the confirmation he did transfer over. All
Yeah, he
right.
did.
So that is confirmation. All right.
So
So then,
that's a big loss for Lake Mary though, because I think that he arguably was going to talk about being the best defensive player.
that's a big loss. But hey, Lake Mary's loss. Hey, you got to ask your boy. Hey, man, he might not want to give us our wings bets. Because we can count on him for wing bets against. But we gonna make sure that he feed us first before we make any more bets with this cat.
For real.
Like, so somebody here said something about Leesburg.
Yeah, somebody said something about Evans too. Yeah, we know D4. D4 gonna be the real deal, that running back for Evans. Um, he'll have 3-4 years. He'll have the next 3 years to solidify himself. I know he went on that camp with Grady, and he showed out. Georgia showed a lot of interest, but he just has to get some high school film. So it's hard to say D4 when he doesn't have high school film. Everybody on this list
Yeah,
already has high school film,
yeah,
and everyone on this list has college offers already. So when you talk about freshmen picking up college offers, we know some seniors walking around here stressing because they don't have offers. But when you talk
yeah.
about these freshmen picking up offers, it just kind of shows
And make
the outline.
and make sure, like, I'm glad and I'll probably address that a little bit more before we get off the air. And maybe not. I'll address it for them because we probably have time. We only got about 10 minutes left, so I'll make it quick. Uh, let's not get focused on the offers as freshmen because they really don't mean anything.
Yeah, we can
Uh,
say
you know,
that.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah, and so I want to
absolutely.
make sure that we give guys attention because we want to give everybody hope. We want the kids to feel good about themselves, but the reality of it is, you know, I get more into like that they junior year. And even then, sometimes kids can't. It's kids that we know that really can play, but they just in bad situations. Like it's unfortunate. But we know the kid can play. He's on the radar, but we can only choose 20.
Yeah.
So it's just that, like, matter of fact, he was a kid we had a discussion about, but we can only choose 20. So that's just being honest. If we could have picked 25, we would have talked about him for
I
certain.
mean, and when I talk about these offers, you and I both know when you go to these camps, that's like, and you that's a big way to gain the offer is show out at these camps. So when you're looking at an offensive lineman, let's say Chancellor Barclay, he goes up to Friday Night Lights at Florida and shows what I thought, starting as a true freshman, and he receives an offer. To me, that it just I mentioned the offer because it just solidifies what I thought to be true. That's why I say that.
Yeah, I know why you say it, but just so that everybody's clear, I've known kids to get that Florida offer as a freshman, and they senior
They
year
don't
they
mean
not
nothing
there.
now.
Right,
They,
right.
in
So,
three,
yeah, it's a
just like
long
when you
time.
go to college.
A
When
long
your
time.
son go to college, he has to renew his scholarship every spring.
Yeah.
So he got a scholarship, but every spring he got to renew his
and
scholarship.
they trying to bring in somebody to replace you every year,
Correct.
like and so we don't want to discourage anybody because that's not really what we're here to do. We want to uplift all these young men. We want every last one of these young men to go to school for free and to have an opportunity to go to school. That's really, and hopefully get a degree because, like I said earlier, it's more than just being a football player.
Yep.
And so if the younger, like, we this is something new that we started because we want to make sure that we give kids credit, but we're not trying to down any kid or say any kid. One of the things I love is for a kid to not be on our list and then just show out so much that we got to say, hey, this kid is that guy. I love it. Because one thing about us, we gonna give it up. If the kid ball out, hey, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, I was wrong. This kid is like that. So hey, but let's move on. Hey, somebody said, is there a freshman at Leesburg that we need to know about? So whoever
I mean,
put
there are a
Facebook user,
couple,
yeah,
but
is there
we
somebody that, yeah, I mean that, like, if that's why we said, please go to
Leesburg got a lot of transfers. But one thing that I know that Moffitt and his crew will do a better job than the old Leesburg crew is, and that's getting their kids out in front of people. The old Leesburg crew, they didn't update a lot of the stuff on Max Preps. They like a lot of the stuff it's not accessible for coaches to even see. So I know that Moffitt and his crew will do a better job with that. But our next guy is late Nona quarterback, Carter Emanuel. Big time quarterback. Nice frame as a freshman. He started about half the season. And I think Carter is going to have a breakout season next year.
Yeah, I think Carter. I've known him for a long time. I expect a lot out of the kid. I think his brother is going to be probably the one that shocks a lot of people this year. He'll be a senior, uh, but looks like a grown man already. So he's well over 200 pounds and looks the part. So we expect a lot of him. Uh, we're going to go to the school Osceola. Uh, I'm going to name these in no particular order, but we have four kids that we had on there: Kyrie Watson, Gerald Garrity, Anthony Powers, and Elijah Jenkins. Uh, all those kids, we see a lot of talent. Uh, Flash went up to the show, which was very competitive, and did his thing up there. The Flash, that's what we call Elijah Jenkins. He played a lot as a freshman. All these guys got a little time as a freshman. They should be pretty good. Like, once again, if Mr. EP doesn't do well, they need to fire him, because he has a lot of talent over there. Uh, this kid right here, though, and this is gonna be interesting. And I'm gonna save him for last. We're gonna flip flop, even though it's an alphabetical order, only because we do need to kind of talk about that situation. We'll go to Winter Park. Aiden Pouncey, DB, known the whole family. Pouncey's a DBs. We expect a lot of them. They for the Pouncey clan. Winter Park. I'm sure, and he might fall in this category. Well, they're Winter Park till they die. I'm pretty sure they're not transferring. But Aiden is my guy. I've known him since he was a little kid. Proud of him. His little sister still runs the house though. So, but let's go to this. The guy I want to talk about, because this is going to be see Pinellas. See, that's what I'm saying. 6'6", 299, FAU at Western. Hey, we got to look at that. But anyway, that's why you got head coaches on there. So this is a kid, obviously. Hey, if you guys are out here looking at it, hey, mark the name down. When your head coach is saying something about you, you got to be half decent. Uh, but 2026, we had your guy Larry Miles,
Yeah.
and the reality of it is, like, is he gonna stay? That's one of the things I wanted to kind of get your like, just kind of talk about. Do you think that
And
with the
man,
loss of
word on the street is all them boys from West Orange, they say they standing 10 toes down. They ain't going nowhere. I've got several text messages and calls regarding it. And after Trevor transferred, them boys at West Orange, they just bunkered down. They have a dominant defense. I ain't gonna lie to you. They have a real good defense. Even watching them in the 7-on-7 circuit throughout the summer, I seen one game where they went up to the Villages, and I think the score was 2-0 or 6-0 or something. Like they defense, they got DBs.
Yeah,
Um,
we will talk about that tomorrow. Like
yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to not tomorrow, but the next show because they have some pretty good sophomore DBs that we expect a lot out of. So
And then the last one was Devin Jackson as well. He's a freshman. He's about 6'2". Um, he could play. He was in the rotation with all of the rest of the DBs that they have. And I
right.
think he's going to be a big time player in this area for years to come.
Yeah, I forgot old Devin. Well, I had him on there, but that's why I tried to save those two West Orange kids for last. So, with that being said, guys, we really need you to go to, and I know people ask you all the time, but we really need y'all to go and like, subscribe at the YouTube channel. Like every person on there, if you like and subscribe, have a couple of your friends like and subscribe, it'll really help us out tremendously.
We do have I have to do correct you on one of them. During that voting process, I'm not sure if you recall, but it was Anthony Gay from Wekiva.
Yes,
It was
yes.
Anthony Gay from Wekiva. And no offense to Kyrie Watson, I think he's going to be a dynamic player, but it was actually Anthony Gay who made that list at Wekiva. 2026. He's smaller in stature, but he's a very talented player.
Yeah,
He has
I went by him because I was supposed to talk about him after Osceola. Yeah,
Yeah, so
he's a
Anthony
freshman.
Gay, he a freshman,
Yeah,
and I think that his numbers will go up even more because a receiver that they was going to depend on, Devin Voltaire, he ended up transferring to Leesburg. He's a 2025, so that's more yards and more catches for Anthony Gay, and I think he's going to have a very good season this year.
yeah, he has a great quarterback. Shout out to his quarterback, Tyree Davis, that committed to North Carolina A&T. Um, for those who don't know, I took Tyree up to North Carolina A&T to visit on the college bus trip. We really went by there exclusively for him to see the campus. For those who don't know, it's a very, 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 very nice campus. North Carolina A&T is a historically black college, but they play in a PWI system. They just transferred to Kelowna Athletic, so they play against white schools. And when I tell you, if you go to North Carolina A&T, it looks like a white school. You would be shocked at how beautiful it is,
I
and
didn't know
shocked. I
that.
think, oh my God,
This the
like
first year?
no, this is not their first year. This is their first year in that conference. They were
Yeah, I'm
in
saying in that conference.
no, but they were in another white conference. They've been left the MEAC like 5, 6 years ago. Them them and Hampton left the MEAC. So you have Tennessee State, them and Hampton. They all play in white colleges, white
You know that, bro.
conferences. But if you go check out like for those who don't know, they will be having a camp on the 15th of July. Uh, they will be offering kids. So, and I'm telling you, if you go by there, you'll be shocked. North Carolina A&T facilities are better than most predominantly white institutions. I'm just telling you. So that might be something that but they are offering scholarships. Big shout out to Kennard Lang, who made sure that I brought Tyree up. He asked for a lot of other Central Florida kids, but they didn't make the trip. I would advise any kid. They're having a lot of your HBCUs are having camps, starting probably this weekend up until the next weekend. So I think BCU is it's coming up. It's either 7th or 8th. You have South Carolina State on the 12th. You have North Carolina A&T on the 15th. Make sure that if you can, some kids that are, that would like the opportunity to play football to make sure they hit those camps up. Or you can go online and figure out know where to go. But I'm telling you, if you go by North Carolina T, you will be shocked. Their facilities do not, the dorms, everything does not look like a HBCU. Just FYI.
Man.
So with that being said, you got anything else for the people? We right here at that hour mark. Uh, telling you, you need to hit A. You definitely want to go by A&T, man. I'm telling you, if you don't hit that, and let's link up, man. Because if I could get like, man, we maybe could see if we can find like a little bus or something, like one of those little, church buses or something, if anybody knows someone, I wouldn't care about taking
Church
kids up
bus.
there. No, I'm talking about like those they're like those
Yeah,
sprinter
no, just say a 15 passenger
yeah,
bus.
well, not 50 because they're usually 20, 20, 21, 22 passenger bus. The
Let's
bus,
say that.
not the van, not the van. I'm talking about the
I'm
bus.
thinking about the church van,
Nah,
Bible
nah,
study
nah.
in,
Nah,
bro.
nah, nah. Like,
Bro.
I can't ride up there with that.
Driving
But
to damn North
yeah,
Carolina in that?
yeah, nah, I can't. I'm talking about the like you got to have a commercial license to drive. That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about. Yeah.
okay, okay.
But yeah, you need to take Mello and Zay. I'm telling you, y'all. I promise you, people will leave there shocked. I might have the video of North Carolina A&T I took, and I think I'll post that on YouTube shortly, so that way everybody can check it out. So all right, with that being said, you got anything else for the people? Let them know what we got coming up next week.
Next week, we'll be looking at 2025, top 30, 2025 prospects in the Central Florida area. And also any coaches, try one last shot. Give it to Friday with the 7-on-7 tournament we're supposed to have next Wednesday, the 12th at Evans High School. I'll reach back out to you guys and see what we can get locked in, and we'll go from there.
Hey, and before we go, man, I definitely want to make sure that we give a shout out to Evans High School. We know Evans is going to be much better than what they were. I want to make sure everybody understands that. They just in a hell of a conference.
Yeah.
Like their district, I wish they weren't in that district. Evans could mess around and go 5-5 and have 4 to 5 losses in their district just because their district is so loaded. If Evans mess around and if they could beat one of those teams and make it to the playoffs, I'd be like the happiest camper there because we all know that, and I've said this for years, the minute Evans starts winning,
Oh,
everybody in Florida, they
Florida
gang
better. Hey, Central
hang it up.
Florida, boy, y'all don't want Evans to start winning because if the
Nah,
kids in Pine Hills stayed in Pine Hills,
they stay home. There's no more Edgewater. There's no more. There's no more whole bunch of that stuff. So
nope,
y'all. So
all
I
that
hope they win.
big.
I hope they win. Even though I love Edgewater. I love what Coach Duke does. I would love to see my main man Carlos Odom. Get an opportunity to really affect that community. Because one thing about it, he's been in that community ever since I known him over 20 years, and he's never left. So whether he was in the middle school rank, high school rank, he's always been there. So that's that. So anybody else got anything else? Anything else for the people, man? I went to church today. I was at ECC Experience Christian Center. Had a great church service. If you the guys who need a church home, we at Jones on Sunday to our facilities being built. So anybody need a church home, come to Jones at 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, and I'm sure you'll get good word from Bishop Derek McQuay. Anybody else? Any other questions? You got anything?
I listen. I would be ashamed of myself if I didn't do this. Um, Marcus Farrer at Osceola. He's gonna be a household name at left tackle 2026. I just got to throw it out there. Dynamic player. Osceola just have so many offensive linemen, bro. Like I ain't even playing with you. They have so
No, no.
many big beefy boys. Pause, but
Hey man,
shout
I
out
already
to
said if EP don't win it all, they need to fire him. I mean, hey, hey, I don't need much to fire. Matter of fact, EP, this is what I'm gonna say to you. When can we get you to come on the show and talk? 'Cause that's what we really need to do. Because EP was supposed to come he didn't show up. So we need to get EP and Mainland and those guys to come and talk on the show about their teams. So I'm gonna hold EP. I'm gonna hold you to it. EP, I need you to come up. Same thing with Travis. We're gonna put them on the show, like have a separate show for those guys. All right.
hey,
So
pause.
so and so next week, we're gonna go over the top 30 2025s, and then I think the people want to see us talk about the teams a little bit. So we might start talking about each district, like leading up into we got what
We'll do
8 weeks.
that.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
let's
We'll
start
get to
talking about each one of them, and that way we can talk about some of the teams. So, all right, well, we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day. Peace out.
peace.